Hello, good evening, Noswaith, and welcome to the final scheduled Ospreys Eyrie of the season. As the dust settles on the 2024-25 season, we look back at a very eventful season for the Ospreys on and off the pitch. We will be presenting some awards, discussing some highlights, to say some thank yous to, especially to players who are leaving us. We also look at who's featured, give an update on where we feel players' contracts might be, as best we understand. So there's loads to get through, lots to get started with, whether you're listening or watching on YouTube. Thanks very much, and hope you enjoy. Thanks to Zach, who's embedded some videos, but unfortunately can't join us this evening. So yeah, welcome to the Ospreys Eyrie. Okay, I'm standing as host tonight for Zach. Joining me as ever, Josh. Hi, Josh. How are things with you?
Yeah, really good, thank you.
Okay. And Jack, still in the Netherlands at this point, but soon to be returning to God's country. And
Yep.
by God's country, I'm not talking about Wales. I'm talking about Bryn, of course. How are things with you?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, good. Looking forward to getting into this, giving the season review.
Good. And finally, Grant, not looking as quite as relaxed as he has been, trying to put this presentation to finalised. But everything okay with you, Grant?
Yeah, it's been like being back in work for the last hour. Apart from that, Nick, yeah.
Okay, we have got a little bit of news since the last time we recorded, and obviously it's some re-signing news, which I know we're all very pleased about. So, Josh, you able to summarise that?
Yeah, so Kieran Williams is re-signed, which is fantastic news. I think he's 10th in the league for successful carries this season, and that will come as no surprise to any Ospreys fan. He always gives us go forward. He's yeah, he'll run through brick walls for us, and he's so important to our game plan and everything we do at the Ospreys. So yeah, really good news that he's re-signed.
Okay, there has been a lot of news. It was a job to summarise it, but we've tried to put it on a slide. Obviously, if we look back, sort of just well, not quite 12 months ago, it was announced that we would be moving to St Helens as our preferred location. And then I think we had a bit of a shock just before the season started when it was announced that Toby Boo would be leaving us at the end of the season, and Justin Tipperick would be transitioning into defence coach for the start of this forthcoming season. Unfortunately, things didn't quite work out as we would have wanted at the beginning of the season, and on the 17th of December, it was announced that Toby Booth was leaving the Ospreys with immediate effect. And obviously, we can look at that when we talk about the season. We launched a season membership deposit scheme, which has been very successful. Ospreys started their pre-application consultation for the redevelopment of St Helens. It was widely rumoured, but it was announced in April that Adam Beard would be leaving us. But we had signed Ryan Smith for the start of next season. Obviously, then unfortunately, the news wasn't one we wanted to hear. There was we didn't sign the new PRA, and there's disagreements with the WRU around the fairness and the equitability of the PRA they were trying to get us to sign. So at the moment, we're in a bit of a state of limbo with rebuttals coming from ourselves and the WRU. We do all obviously hope that can be resolved quickly. And there's our season. So
It's disappointing ending up 12th eventually in the URC. You know, we still had some hope, didn't we, up until the last couple of weeks, really.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think. Sorry, Joe.
I would say so. I think, as you said, it's been a season of almost like three thirds, isn't it? You had the start, which was poor. Then Mark Jones came in. Everything picked up, and I think put all our eggs in the European basket, and then that loss to Leon kind of blew the stuffing out of the team a little bit, and then it tailed off towards the end after that. So I think the middle part good, start disappointing, end kind of, I think, ran out of steam a bit. But I don't think it's been. There's a lot of positives to take, I think, from the season in general, particularly some of the rugby that's been played. If they can continue to do that next season, have a full pre-season with the new manager and so on, then looking forward to it. Yeah.
I'm just coming here. Obviously the overall for wins is slightly down, but one of the things that I was pleased when to put this together is the actual points difference. Where thinking back to last year, great that we finished eighth, but we did have a couple of really heavy defeats. I think the Bulls away and Leinster away. So even though we've tried to play perhaps a bit more expansively, we've certainly haven't let go completely of our defence, and if anything, tightened it. So I think maybe that could be something we could further work on, and having tips, although we're all very sorry to lose him as a player, solely in that role next year will allow us hopefully to further tighten our defence, but still developing our wider game.
Good start, that, isn't it? In terms of the points difference, it's quite revealing.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it gives a context, doesn't it? So that's and I do think that context is important, given what happened with Toby Booth. Whether that was the right decision at the time to announce at the time, we'll never know. But it did put additional pressure, possibly affected our early season performances, where when you think back, obviously we lost in the last minutes against the Dragons, which we should have won that game. But I think the one that really probably was most disappointing was losing away to Zebra. Much improved though they are, that, and then we were always playing catch up, weren't we? As Jack's alluded to, that first third of the season, we were having to play a lot of catch up, and it almost came that we almost gave ourselves an impossible task to go to South Africa, and we don't know what was going on in the background when we went to South Africa as well. How much the players knew, how much the management knew about what the impending situation with the PRA. Things like that are bound to unsettle people, aren't they?
Yeah, you don't know what effect that's had on the players, but you look at those results and you look at the overall points difference, you suddenly realise in reflection how many games were we within like 7 points of a victory. Leinster as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. What we're going to try and do an interweave with this summary of the season is put some awards in as well. So we go through from Try of the Year, Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, Breakthrough Player of the Year, Clubman Award. There's some of the more serious awards. Then we've got Best Haircut of the Year, Signing of the Year, again another important award. Best Signing Video of the Year, just to recognise some of the fantastic work that sort of separates what the Ospreys media team do from some of the other teams. Our Moment of the Year, and finally our Game of the Season. So we'll come on to them, and you'll see these popping up throughout the rest of the pod.
Okay, we're going to just talk about obviously the signings of the year, and this is such a key part of any team, the recruitment. These are players who've either who played 5 or more matches, and perhaps because of that played perhaps a bit more of a contribution than others. There are others. Some obviously were on temporary contracts, and that's a discussion point in itself. But overall, I thought our recruitment was pretty solid last year.
Right. Well, I'll start with Boshov. I think that if someone had told me after Owen Watkins' injury we'd be going into the final kind of few games of the season with Boshov as our kind of one of our main centres, I would have been surprised. But honestly, he came in and he's done an absolutely fantastic job. Like, he's so solid. Like at pretty much everything. His passing game's good, his tackling's good. Like, he just kind of came in and I mean, it showed by how many games he actually played in the end. I think he played every single one right until the end of the season. after the injury, something along those lines anyway. So yeah, I think he's been brilliant, particularly considering we're quite light in the centres as well. I think he's been a really good signing and played a really pivotal role at the end of the season as well. So yeah, couldn't speak highly enough of his performances for the Ospreys this season, to be honest. Really, really solid player.
Would you like to hang on to him, Jack?
I would absolutely, and I think that he's definitely done enough for me to say he should stick around, or hopefully they re-sign him, because I think what he does very well, and I don't think he's looked out of his depth at all. So I think he'd be a good person to keep around. Also considering the fact that we are very, very light in the centre, I don't think we should be getting rid of more, to be honest. But yeah, not just that. I think he has been brilliant, particularly when he was called upon after the Owen Watkins injury, for sure.
Okay, this one's a little bit more tricky, really. I was perhaps hoping for a little bit more from Phil Cockasinger. Featured in a few matches. Perhaps he tried a bit too hard. He picked up an injury, and I don't know, how well he's recovered from that. So hopefully he can go into next season having a really good summer, be fully fit, and show that he's worthy of the contract he was offered. Because I assume he was signed on a 2-year contract when he signed for his last summer.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of him, but you look at his highlights reel and the potential is huge.
So yeah, Ryan Combier. I think he was a really good pickup from the Scarlets. I think a lot of people were quite surprised they let him go. I know they've got a lot of riches on the wing, but for me, he's a really good URC level winger. He started off the season really well, but got really unlucky picking up quite a serious injury when he did, and then we signed Kasande just afterwards, and he's been brilliant this season. But right at the start of the season, those first few games after he signed, he looks really sharp. Really good finisher, strong in the air, considering he's not the tallest. Really think it was a great pickup getting in, to be fair.
3 tries in 7 matches says something, doesn't it? That's great.
Yeah.
Will Greatbags, again, we haven't seen much of Will. He's still only a young man. He's 22 years old. He's quite an enthusiastic young lump of a boy. Second row come back row. Signed him from France. It's early days in his career, so contract ends 2026. So let's see what we get out of him and see if we can develop him as a player.
Kieran Hardy's been brilliant, hasn't he? He's been fantastic. I mean, he came from Scarlets, probably looking to kind of put his name forward for the Wales role again, and so on, and hope to kind of rekindle a little bit of form he showed in previous seasons. And I think he's absolutely done that. He's got his name back in, he's touring Japan now. And he's been great, absolutely brilliant. Some of the support lines he runs, and the passing and the speed that he gets to rucks and so on. I think he's been really, really important for us, particularly the way we want to play under Mark Jones. And I can't speak highly enough of the form that he's kind of got himself into. And he's maintained, and hopefully he maintains it into next season as well, and pushes on even further, because I think that he's been brilliant.
I think that average minute stat is really interesting. That it kind of shows you how well he's dovetailed with Ruben Morgan-Williams. I don't think we've seen that second 9 get that much game time, and he's averaging over half a game, so he's probably edging the starting spot towards the end of the season. But it's just great to see those two. I think they're really pushing each other on really well.
Again, 8 tries in 20 matches, and it was a fantastic strike rate. And something you'd love from a scrum half. Yeah.
Daniel Kasende, the fans' favourite. He's been absolutely brilliant, hasn't he? Obviously we had a glimpse of him last year. He came at the end of the Currie Cup season to us from the Cheetahs, and he's been sensational. Look how many matches he's played, his minutes. He's virtually played every minute of every game, 6 tries, superb in the air, and he's a point of difference to our other wingers as well. He's quite a big man. Knocking on an old money 6 foot, quite a strong man, but still got a lot of pace. So yeah, he's been a fantastic signing, and he's loved by the Osprey fans quite rightly.
Yeah, he's a joy to watch. He's a joy to watch me interviewed as well.
Will Spencer, yeah, he was a great signing, wasn't he? To be fair, I don't think many people expected too much when we signed him. He's obviously a massive lump, 116 kilograms, 200 centimeters. He looks massive on the pitch, and he really throws his weight around. Yeah, I've been really, really impressed with what he's offered, and I do hope we end up re-signing him. But whoever does pick him up, if we don't, will be getting themselves a really good second row.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think I know we got Ryan Smith arriving, but with Beard leaving, okay, Will Spencer could be indispensable in terms of experience in the second row next year.
Yeah.
Stefan Thomas signed from across the Lucker Bridge. Again, a big lump of a guy, okay, 119 kilos. He's only 28, so as a prop, okay, there's a good few years left in Stephen Thomas. He's not started that. I don't know how often he has started, okay, but he's benched a few times, and when he has come on, he hasn't let us down. So fingers crossed, we carry on developing him. He's got Duncan there as a coach as well, so let's hope we see Stephen Thomas develop over the next season or so.
Yeah, and with Gareth Thomas re-signing as well, his cousin, I think, isn't it? Gareth is, but we're building a little bit of depth, and obviously with Gavin Phillips as well, because you do through a season need 3-4 props, don't you? In each, both loose head and tight head. So he's certainly done a good job for us.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so we have our signing of the season. We've narrowed it down to 3. Anybody want to say anything further about the 3 nominees?
In terms of Will Spencer, Toby Booth nabbed him, didn't he? Is one of his signings, and what a signing he's been for us. The fact he appears in midfield, okay, and looks like he does. He's not shaped like an athlete. He's shaped like a Hulk of a man, but he appears in midfield and starts running with the ball and dummying as well and distributing the ball. So I think he's been fantastic.
Okay. And the winner is Kieran Hardy. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think all 3 of them, to be fair, if you'd said at the beginning of the season who the signing of the season would be, I think you'd have had fair money on someone like Faulkner Singer or someone different. I think those 3 have all massively outplayed what we'd maybe have thought when we signed him. And Kieran Hardy's been absolutely superb. I think his kicking game, I didn't realise how good it was until we signed him. I didn't appreciate him as much at Scarlet, but since we signed him, his all-round game is brilliant.
No, he's been a really good pickup, hasn't he?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, these are some of the players who've featured as well, and I understand is where they got academy contracts or not. Obviously, we've highlighted 2 players in particular there who, unfortunately, through injury, no fault of theirs whatsoever, but have been losses to see. Rhys Henry, we all love, and also Rhys Davis. We saw a glimpse of Rhys Davis when he came back, didn't he, from another long-term injury, and poor Bugger's picked up another one as well. But we do wish them both the very best, because they will be new signings if they can get themselves fit for sometime next season. The other ones I maybe mentioned is obviously Dan Jermaine's been picked for the Wales under 20s training squad. Cian Hire, who played in his first game, which is a heck of an achievement for a 20-year-old. And I believe he's very well thought of, certainly by Tom Botha, I was talking to. And also, some of the other players there. Hugh Sutton, who did feature perhaps a bit more last season, hasn't had the best of luck with injury either. So if some of those players can get themselves fit and develop fully, we're going to be, some of them will be like new signings next year. And then finally some of the players who haven't featured yet but are still on the website on our and also maybe just a shout out to Lewis Edwards, who's also been picked for the Wales under 20s training squad. I think he's still only 18, full back or centre. Liam Edwards is another who played for the 20s but had really bad luck with injury, big lump of a second row. And also Corey Lewis-Jenkins, who's featured a lot for Aberavon and done very well there. So maybe he might get some game time for the next year.
Okay, so looking at some more players, Adam Beard. What is there to say about this man? He's been brilliant for the Ospreys over the years, and seeing as he is leaving us now, it's sad to see him go, but he's been a real good servant to the club. Unfortunately, he spent a lot of the season injured, which was unfortunate for us at the Ospreys, but I also think it was probably unfortunate for him in terms of Lions year and so on as well. I think that it's just his work at set piece. I know people talk about it all the time, but he is just one of the best in the world at that, more defense and line outs and so on. And he's going to be a really, really, really big miss for that reason. He's a big boy. And I think sometimes that counts against him a little bit, because people think he should be, taking the ball and smashing into people and carrying harder. Which he can do, and he does do it, but his game is more centered around that kind of like line out set piece defense. And yeah, he's been fantastic for us over the years, and it's a real shame to see him go, but wish him all the best at his future club. We don't know who that is yet, do we? I mean,
no.
Montpellier has been talked about, but
not been confirmed yet.
Yeah, one of the worst kept secrets in rugby, is it? So yeah, I mean, yeah, you must be doing something right if you're going to go and play as a lock-in out in France. So,
I think he'd be very successful out there as well.
Yeah. So wish him all the best.
You'll see him in 2 years' time when he returns from France.
Okay, one of my favourite players, but is Tom Botha. I think he's been an absolute star for us over the years, and still been able to turn out to 21 matches. He's a lovely fella as well. Training to be an electrician, he told me. I think he'll see his future back in South Africa. He's from the Stellenbosch area, just outside Cape Town. I know his contract ends in 2026, as far as we're aware, but I would seriously consider him, if he's willing, extending that further, even if he plays less matches, just there as a mentor for people like Cian Hire, Rhys Henry, Ben Warren. I think he's got a role to play, hopefully for some time to come. Absolutely brilliant player for us.
One of the best tight ends in the URC, if not Europe.
I got a question. How is someone with a back that big going to fit into cupboards in someone's house to do the electric?
Yeah, outdoor work probably. Pylons.
Pylons, pretty strong pylons as well. Okay, right.
So yeah, Luke Davis, really, he seems like a great character around the squad. And I think he kind of knows at the moment his position is third choice 9, but he's a fantastic third choice 9 if he is going to be that. When he's been handed his opportunities, I think he's done really well. I remember the game he came back from injury. I can't remember which one it was, but he looked a little bit rusty. I think it was a Scarlets, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked a little bit rusty, but I think it shows his character when the week afterwards, for me, he was one of the best players in the pitch when he came on. He controlled the game really well. He put us in the right areas. So yeah, I'm really glad his contract does last till 2027 because I think he's a really underrated player. And yeah, when he is called upon, he seems to usually deliver.
You've got to have people like Luke in your squad, haven't you? You've got to have people like that about.
And you never know when you might be called upon to be first choice, do you?
Yeah.
Because of injuries that happen in rugby or international call-ups, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Tristan Davis. Gutted to see Tristan leave. He's really come through this year. I think as a player, he's had only a few more opportunities, but when he has played, he's shown some real glimpses of what he's capable of. He's a big lump of a boy. He's young, he's fit, he's athletic, and I just wish him all the best wherever he ends up. Again, that hasn't been confirmed yet, but I think I know where he's going, unfortunately.
Harry Deves. What does it say about a man who loves melting people? Honestly, the boy can bang. He loves a tackle. He puts his head where, I wouldn't want to put my feet personally. And he's a character as well. I think, he's had a few injuries this season as well. But his kind of regard for his own safety it's not really there, is it? But I think he's been really good. The Leinster game stands out for me as one of his better games. I thought he was really good in the Leinster game where we lost by a few points at the end. I think he's got a big future ahead of him, and I think he's a great clubman to have around the club as well. Seems to be a good personality, and absolutely loves a tackle. So good season for him overall, I think.
Jack, do you think if he'd been fit throughout the season, and he's had an op as well, hasn't he, post-season, do you think he might have made the Welsh squad for Japan?
I think so. I think he's exactly what Wales are missing as well. He's very abrasive. He gets stuck in. He's very, very physical, doesn't take a backward step. And I think for a lot of the season with Wales, we've seen struggle with the physicality. And I think he brings that physicality in heaps, enthusiastically, shall we say? So I think so, and I think he will get a call up at some point. He's in and around that area, isn't he?
It's a big year for him next year, isn't it? With Tips stepping back, he's going to become a key player for us if he's not already, because he's going to hopefully have 20 matches and 1,000 minutes next year at least, because he's that important to us. Okay, Dan's most definitely cemented his place now as our starting outside half. He's had a very good season. He's done everything that could have been asked of him, really. He's played a lot of rugby, which is, probably what he needed. He's had some slight ups and slight downs, of course, but that's part of a 22-year-old's development. And he now goes to Japan, pushing for the start.
Nick, we lost your sound.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll cut that out. Okay, Dan Edwards, what a great season he's had. He's cemented himself now as our starting outside half. Played a lot of minutes. He's had some fantastic games. He's had some games which have been part of a wider learning for him, where perhaps everything he's tried hasn't worked. Scored 7 tries. He's got that little bit of pace as well. And now he's off to Japan, where he's going to be pushing very hard for that starting 10 shirt out there. So fantastic season for Dan. Hell of a nice lad as well. And wish him really well for the summer as well, to finish off this season.
Pretty good strike rate, isn't it, for the 10? 7 tries at 22 games.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah.
James Fender, he's been so unlucky of injury, isn't he, Fender? I think if he didn't pick up the injuries he had, he'd probably be pushing for the Wales squad now, especially if you look at the second rows they currently have in the squad. It feels like a position they're a little bit limited. We're a little bit limited in Wales. And he had a brilliant breakthrough season last season. But yeah, since then he's just seems to pick up injuries. He's in the physical position, so it's going to happen. But he's still only 23. He's so young. He's got a massive future ahead of him. And yeah, I just hope he can stay fit next season. Because yeah, he adds a lot. Him and Rhys Davis, if they can both stay fit, I think it would make a massive, massive difference to us next year.
Tom Florence, 6 matches, come on as a substitute a couple of times. He's still only 22. Okay, he's a lump of a guy. I'm surprised he's only 92 kilos because he looks a lot bigger when you see him up close. And again, I think it's he's 22. It's about you almost think it's his time to break through now, and opportunities should start coming for Tom. Hopefully next season. He's got a lot of potential. When you watch him play under 20s level for Wales, he looks fantastic. So let's hope we can see the same sort of form for the Ospreys going forward.
Keelan, he's had a great season, isn't he? Again, I seem to be getting all the players who've been having really, really, really good seasons. He's part of a very, very exciting back three. He made up, when he was playing along with Cassende and Walsh. I think the Ospreys looked a different team. He's whenever he's on the ball, he's dangerous. He's got that step. He's quick. It'd be a nightmare for defenders to deal with. And I think, he's got that Wales call up, and hopefully stays fit and can get on the pitch and show what he can do, because I think he's been knocking on the door for a while. He offers something different, like what a lot of wingers offer in Wales, and I think he's been brilliant this season and part of a very, very exciting back three for us. So.
Yeah, I think Sherratt seems to like a big winger and a smaller, quicker winger. Yeah. So potentially this summer he might be competing with Max Page for that left wing spot, being that smaller, quicker winger. And I really hope he gets an opportunity, because I think he'll definitely take it. And especially the fast tracks in Japan, I think it will really suit him.
Be nice if he comes back and be able to say Keelan Giles Welsh International, won't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, thoroughly well deserved as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Will Griffiths, another one who's really had some bad luck with injury. I really like Will Griffiths. He's a good, solid player. He just needs a run of games, doesn't he? I hope he's in contract talks now with the Ospreys to extending his time with us, because he's versatile as well. He can do a job in the second row, but I personally think given his size, he's probably better suited to a blindside flanker role. But I just hope he stays with us and has a good run and remains injury free to show what he really can do.
Yes, Hopkins. I think he had limited game time at the start of the season, and I think he's definitely picked up a bit more game time since Mark Jones has taken over. He seems to be someone he really rates, especially in that sort of 23 jersey to come on and offer something a bit different. As you can see, he's played 18 matches and he's averaged about 20 minutes. That kind of shows he's been coming off the bench a lot and showing an impact. He's had, we'll come on to it later, but he's had some big moments this season. I really think, given the opportunity, he seems to have overtaken Max Nagy in Mark Jones's mind in terms of the fullback pecking order. And given the opportunity, him and Jack Walsh, I think, are both really two very exciting fullbacks who like counter-attacking.
Lewis Jones played 9 matches. He's averaged 29 minutes a game. Again, not normally a starter, but he's still only 22 years old. 2 meters tall, 105 kilos. Yeah, he's a monster of a young man. And fingers crossed, again, we see Lewis get a few more opportunities and develop further with the Ospreys. Again, his contract ends 2025, but based on what we've learned so far, in terms of the levers, he's here for the future.
Dowie. Again, much like Adam Beard, unlucky with injury this season, actually. I think he would have been pushing for a Lions spot if he stayed fit, but unfortunately didn't. But he's been really good for us, as he always is. He's up there alongside the likes of Jack Morgan in terms of always a solid 7 or 8 out of 10. And yeah, I think he's incredibly important to the team and incredibly important to the club. Just abrasive, loves to carry, really, really determined. I think that's kind of, what you need out of a hooker. And he's a leader as well. He's one of those leaders on the pitch, which is very important. So yeah, I think he's had a good season for when he's played, but I think that, again, like, he's been unlucky with injury this season again. So hopefully he can stay fit now and get a good season on his belt next season and see where he goes from there.
Ethan Lewis never let us down when he's had to step up. Very decent hooker, probably in that sort of third, fourth role choice hooker for us. I think he's actually a little bit. I've said, by the way, the dates of birth and so on, and the heights and weights I've taken off our website. I think he's probably a little bit older than that. I'm not, because I think he played for the 20s quite some time ago. But yeah, I don't know where he's going to be now, possibly with a couple of younger hookers coming through. But he's never let us down, and if his time with us is coming to an end, we wish him very well for the future.
Yeah, when he has played, okay, I'm surprised he hasn't had more game time when you look at the way he plays, because he's quite an abrasive. He's fairly pacey. He looks the part, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
Lewis Lloyd. Yeah, I think it kind of shows that he's been covering the back row for the last few games, how dynamic he is as a hooker. He's not the biggest, only 92 kilograms according to these stats. So that's quite small for a hooker. So he could probably putting a little bit more size on. Quite unlucky that he picked up that injury, making that cover tackle. Who was that again? Was that against
Benetton, wasn't it?
Leinster? Yeah, unbelievable cover tackle to get back and make that tackle. Not many hookers you're going to see covering that sort of ground and that sort of speed. So yeah, I think he's someone who can really kick on and maybe have a breakthrough season next year. I think, with him and Dowie, those are two really, really good hookers. So yeah, hopefully injury-free next season, we see a bit more of him.
Captain Jack, Lion to be, still only 25 years old. Look at that, 25 matches he's played, considering he's been away as well in Wales camps, okay? That's a remarkable stat. He's played averaging 75 minutes a game. What a player. What a player. I don't know. I could talk about him for the next hour, but that'll waste everyone's time, okay? We all know what Jack Morgan is capable of. What a guy.
Luke Morgan. I almost feel like he's the forgotten man sometimes. He's such a good winger. And unfortunately, that as we were talking about, that back three has been so good that he's not really had a massive kind of look in. But I think when he has played, he showed his worth. I think he was good in South Africa, against the Lions particularly. I think that last game of the season, he showed that he still got something to offer. As of this moment, we don't know if he's staying or going. It looks like he's staying because we haven't had a leavers list. And I think he'd be a decent player to have just around the squad for his experience. He's a solid URC player and has been for a long time. And I think that keeping him wouldn't be the worst option, because he still does a good job when called upon. Yeah.
Okay, Ruben, he's had pressure put on him this year, but he's responded to that pressure, as we've already discussed. Really glad he's been rewarded now with the call up to the Welsh squad. Probably should have been in the Welsh squad before now, the way he's been playing. He's a threat on the base of a scrum, from the base of a line out or ruck. and he runs really good support lines. And yeah, I just hope that he's hopefully in having fruitful discussions with us as we speak. And we have some good news to share with everybody soon about him continuing to play for the Ospreys after he gets his first Welsh cap in Japan.
It'll be it's going to be interesting seeing him in Hard in Japan, because for me they could be the first two choices, so that we could see them getting a real opportunity, both of them with Wales, and yeah, I could see them both cementing themselves in squads going forward as well. Yeah, I'm so glad he's got his opportunity. It's been massively deserved.
Yeah, sure. Morgan, oh sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
No, all good. Morgan Morris, one of the highest work rate players in the league. He's one of the top for carries in the league, one of the top for meters made. Yeah, he's been absolutely superb since he sort of burst onto the scene for us. Contract ends 2025, but again, really hoping he re-signs. He's so important for us. Him and Kieran, the amount of work we put them through in terms of relying on them to make carries and give us go forwards.
Yeah.
And I know we've got a young talent in Morse coming through, but I think, those two as your 8 options, you could do a lot worse than that. So yeah, no, really hope he re-signs. He's been one of our best players over the last few years.
Yeah, sorry, I'm interrupting earlier because I saw Morgan and an M pop up. Morgan, MM1 and MM2. Remarkable to say he's still only 20 years old. He still can be playing for Wales under 20s. And the only reason I'm assuming he's not in the Japan squad is to give him a little bit of time and a little bit of a proper pre-season, maybe, because I'm gobsmacked he's not going to Japan as a maybe a starting 8. What more can you say about the guy? He's shown this year he can do it at the top level. He's still only young, and from that should come a bit of consistency as he gets to play a bit more and plays more first team rugby starting as well. But he's a guy with a real future, isn't he?
Max Nagy came back from injury, and he's not really had a look in since, really, is he? No. He was unfortunate that Jack Walsh ended up playing at fullback and was absolutely fantastic. Before that, he was, one of the form fullbacks in the league. It's been a bit of a strange season for him, really, isn't it? If you look at like the difference between 23, 24, and then this season. So it's hard to say. And again, there's another player whose contract is seemingly ending, but we haven't heard anything of re-signing or being released. So we'll see. So again, it's just I think he's been unfortunate with injury, and then coming back from that, as it's not really, he's not really been on the pitch all that much. So yeah.
It's so strange. It's only the start of the season. People were talking about, oh, is he Welsh qualified yet?
Yeah.
Is he not? Sport is such a weird thing, but there's no doubt he can regain the form he was showing last year, that people were tipping him for a Wales call-up. So, yeah, hopefully he gets a few opportunities next year. And, his aerial skills are superb as well. So I think, he still has a lot to offer us if we were to re-sign him.
Sam Parry, probably culminating on our record try scoring. He's pretty high up in that chart, isn't he? Great that he signed another contract for us now for the next 2 years. Real stalwart, great player. And, we're well blessed, as we said, in the hooker department. We've got obviously Dewi, who's, probably just a little bit ahead of Sam in his carrying. But, Sam always does a fantastic job. Really good line-out thrower, and he never ever lets the Ospreys down if he's playing or coming off the bench. So yeah, really pleased he's staying with us, and wish him well for the next couple of years with us.
Yeah, there's not many weaknesses in Sam's game, is there?
No.
Can't give any.
No.
Gareth Phillips, Yes, if you look at those stats, I think that tells a really good picture of this season's potentially being a breakthrough season for him. Um, he's gone from playing 11 matches last year to 18 this year. And that's obviously with us losing Nicky to Leicester. He's kind of really had to step up as that second choice loose head behind, the Welsh first choice loose head, Gareth Thomas. So, yeah, we seem to have a bit of a conveyor belt of brilliant loose heads coming through at the Ospreys, and I think he's the next one. I'm really impressed with his work around the park. Really strong carrier. He's a big unit, and his scrummaging is improving all the time. So yeah, really, really impressed with him this season. I think he's massively stepped up since Nicky's left, and yeah, really excited to see what he can do next year. And obviously, he's had a Wales call up as well, which has been thoroughly well deserved. So yeah, no, brilliant season.
James Ratty has had a fantastic season for me. We talked earlier about some of the ball carriers we've got. Morgan Morris, Keith Remneath. But when you look at what James Ratty does, whether he's playing in the second row or more usually in the back row, but he's entirely interchangeable. Isn't he? The big, tall guy, he's a heavy guy, and his work rate is absolutely immense. And if you want someone to say, right, what does an Osprey look like? I put James Ratty up there as, that's what you want from one of your players in terms of commitment and attitude on the pitch. I think he's been great for us this year.
And given that Wales have gone quite light in the second row department, I think he's got a very good chance to add into his one cap out in Japan.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that, Nick. Yeah.
Gareth Thomas. Yeah, great player. Great prop. Probably the best prop Wales have and the best prop the Ospreys have as well. Brilliant in the scrums. I think that's reflected in the amount of minutes that he's played and the amount of matches that he's played. I think he's indispensable to the team around scrummaging and set pieces. And if you look at it, contract ends in 2027, so he's sure. He re-signed, so that kind of reflects the value that he has. Solid player, and long may it continue.
He always looks, he's totally committed, isn't he? He puts his body on the line. He's a sort of Dan Lydia type tackler. But he always look gutted when if Mark Jones pulls it, or Duncan Jones, whoever gives him the call off. He like, oh no, me, I've got to come off. I want to carry on. So it shows his commitment to the cause. Yeah, great player, Gareth.
It's always a good face to have, mate, isn't it, when you're coming off going, I can't believe they're taking me off.
Yeah. Maybe he's just a good actor. Mr. Tipperick. He's the only one that's, I think we put in blue, the man in the blue cap. For me, obviously with Alan Wynne, he's up there with the best ever Osprey forwards, definitely. He's not the biggest man, but he plays way above that, both in the line out and his physicality, and just shows the importance that, when we did lose him in it was the Lyon game, I think that had a bearing on that result. I think his experience might have got us over the line if he'd have stayed on, and there's just the amount of minutes he's carried on playing. Still can't quite believe he's retiring. I'm sure the Ospreys will do something to mark that, as he wasn't able to have a final game. And wish him all the very best, and just delighted he's staying, because he's a true Osprey, isn't he? And and it'd be great I'm sure, to have him continuing in the environment in his new role as defence coach.
Yeah, one of the most skillful players I've ever seen, and yeah, probably the reason that Harry Dees wears a scrum cap, even if it's a different colour, and the reason a lot of other kids are still playing rugby and wearing scrum caps. What a guy!
So many players have come out and talked about him this season. I think it's Ben Youngs and Dan Cole on their podcast talking about how he is the most skillful player they've ever played with, full stop, like for the Lions and so on. I think that when you look at all the professionals who mention him as well as being one of the best players I've ever played with in terms of his engine and the skill set that he has, he's a true Welsh great. And I think that it's great that he's sticking on as a coach, but it's sad to see him retiring, I would say, because he was a joy to watch.
Jack Walsh, really, really impressive season. We've talked about it a little bit in terms of the amount of minutes he's got at fullback. When we initially signed him, he looked a bit more like a 10. But yeah, he's really, really looked impressive at fullback. I think he's number one in the league for meters carried. So that just shows what his attitude is towards counter-attacking. And I think he's a Mark Jones fullback. I think Mark Jones wants his fullbacks to be an attacking threat. And you kind of saw it in that last game, the try he scored, that line he picked off Kieran Williams. He's starting to pick those fullback lines now as well. So yeah, second playmaker, reads the game really well. So yeah, he's had a brilliant season, and I'm hoping Australia or America aren't really watching him too closely, because then in a couple of years he can play for Wales.
I like that. Yeah. And Ben Warren, second fiddle to Tom Botha, developing at a rate. He's 25 years old. He's 122 kilos. Is he the heaviest? Is that the heaviest weight we've got in any of the players? Wow. Again, 20 matches this season, averaging 36 minutes. So it shows again how we're using him. He doesn't start that often, okay, but he's second choice, and he's Tom will go off with 25 minutes to go, and Ben will come on. Hopefully we'll carry on seeing development within Ben, because he's fantastic around the pitch. He carries well. He's a strong guy. If he can if you can get anywhere near Tom Botha's scrimmaging performance, then we've got a real star, haven't we?
Definitely.
Owen Watkin, when he did play, solid as always. Defensively good, attacking good. I think he's another player that always is, a good kind of like 7, 8 out of 10. Unfortunately, he's had a pretty bad injury. And so when he comes back from that, I hope he's going to be in the same kind of form that he showed before his injury. Again, just another player whose season has kind of been cut short, unfortunately, by injury. But again, solid player, been at the Ospreys for a long time now. His whole career basically. And so it's good to have people like that around the club who are part of the region and have been part of the region through their entire development. So yeah.
Yeah, in the same ilk, really. Kieran, he's an Osprey through and through, Glenneath boy. Just gives his all every time he steps on that pitch. It's nice to see. I think his game is developing. I think under Mark Jones, he's been asked to do some slightly different things, and that's good for him, because he's a very, very talented player, and a key part of Osprey's future, I hope. And I just hope, as if he is still in contract talks, that comes to a positive conclusion very soon now, because we can't wait to see him next season, and particularly at St Helens.
But yeah, there's the news this week. Keith has re-signed. He
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And there is that little bit. You look at his weight, 90 kilos. And I go back to my O-level physics, force equals mass times acceleration. Must be a hell of an acceleration, because he runs through walls with that 90 kilos.
Yeah.
Owen Williams, I think he's really done that sort of experienced fly half role, sort of taken over from Stephen Myler before him. Maybe haven't seen too much of him this season, which full credit to Dan Edwards. He's kind of really taken over that fly half role, and they've given him the reins, and he's done really well. It was interesting when Toby Booth was in charge. He spent a lot of time sort of in the coaching box, watching the analysis, and I think he'd be feeding messages into Dan Edwards and really helping his development. I think he's a massively underrated player. I think I read an interview with TJ Perenara, who played with him in Japan before he signed, and he was saying he couldn't believe he hasn't got more Wales caps. He said if he was a New Zealander, he'd have had a lot more caps for the All Blacks than he has for Wales. So I think he hasn't necessarily had the opportunities this season. But yeah, he's done really well for us since he signed, and I wish him the best of luck wherever he goes next year.
So we're back to the end of season awards. We went to the list of awards earlier in the pod. I'm not going to repeat them all, so we'll just move on to award number 1, Try of the Year. There is a video. Okay, I'll play the video now. I'll turn the sound off so you won't get the commentary. So guys, we'll have to fill in all the gaps.
With the Dragons, much loved.
This is early on in the season, wasn't it? Against the Stormers. I think it's a bridge end. Brilliant break by Ruben. Lovely chip over the top. And I think he passed inside to Dan Edwards to finish off. Obviously, good backing up. I think there were a couple of players available for the final pass. But Dan, being the ultimate sniffer, got it.
This one is Try against the Bulls or Jack Morgan. Sorry, not Jack Morgan.
That's Jack Morgan setting up Ryan Conbeer, isn't it?
Yeah, Jack Morgan setting up Ryan Conbeer. It's just really, really good hands, good play. Yeah.
Next try we've got listed is Yeston Hopkins scoring in the last minute against the Scarlets to dash their hopes in the 80th minute.
That couple enjoyed that one, didn't they?
Yeah. Who was that?
Any try against the Scarlets is worth watching again.
Oh, Glasgow versus Ospreys. Kieran Hardy scoring a fantastic try. We've got a scrum in our own half, and Morgan Morse has gone away like an absolute train, slipped the ball to Hardy, who's just made everyone else look pedestrian on the pitch. Now, we've seen some team tries. That is two individuals making a hell of a difference there.
It's against Connacht in that topsy-turvy game. Lovely pass over the top there to Xende, and a back of the hand pass to Jack Walsh, and a lovely slip inside for Keelan to finish in the corner.
Beautiful set of hands again. We scored some great team tries, but the individual skills are there as well, and that's a great example of everything wrapped into one, that try.
So now we got in the cup, we got Jack Morgan's try. It's a brilliant break by Dan Edwards, and I think he looks a jiffy running through here, and then he just gets the ball up, pops it off, and again, just really good hands. Very, very good hands, and over we go for the score. But those breaks by Dan Edwards are brilliant. When he gets through that first line of defence, he looks so dangerous with that turn of pace.
I think it was mentioned earlier, the amount of tries he gets for a fly half because of his, as you say, his speed. This was a try against the Dragons. Brilliant break from Harry Deves, looking really powerful, and a brilliant support line from Keelan Giles. Really well worked try. We were pulling away from the Dragons there, really. Defence optional at the end of that game.
After Dees made that break and he pushed the ball to Giles, he's waving his arms about like a fool, going, "Come on!" So there's our nominations. And try the season goes to Yeston Hopkins.
Yay.
There might have been prettier tries, but I think the opposition played a big part in our select
Decisions there.
Look, it's what sport's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
That scoring,
Drama.
Drama. Last minute try against your rivals to win it. That's what we watch for.
I prefer less drama, just big scores.
You prefer the 43-0, do you?
Yeah. So, do you want to go through this, Nick?
Yeah, player of the year. I think we've already made reference to them. all four have had fantastic seasons. But we had to choose a winner, and perhaps it might not come to a shock to people because it's very easy to because its standards are so high. Uh, this player is exceptional, and I think we need to reflect that in our choice of player of the year.
Yeah.
And of course, it's Mr. Jack Morgan, Dion Jack.
Yeah, just because he's better than everybody else every week. That it's average for Jack, isn't it? Most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations, Jack. Young Player of the Year's got a few nominees, and what's weird is we've been seeing these guys playing for us for a couple of seasons, which is crazy when you look at how old they are.
Yeah.
So Morgan Morse still 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gavin Phillips is still young for a prop, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically, 3 of them are going to have Wales caps by the end of the summer, right? And they're all still very, very young. It's a good sign, isn't it, for the club in terms of the production line coming through. So
I mean, yeah, in 2 years' time, we could be doing this category again, and Morgan Moore will still be on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite crazy, that, yeah. Anyway, after much discussion, it's a slow process to eliminate people from these lists, okay, but our Young Player of the Year, given to Dan Edwards.
Yeah.
Nick said, now our first choice 10, but by a distance. Congratulations, Dan.
Well deserved, Dan.
Yeah.
Gal, I'll do Breakthrough Player of the Year. Obviously, we're sad that Tristan Davis is leaving us. Cochran, Iestyn Hopkins, and Gavin Phillips, who've perhaps featured a bit more than Tristan, but all 3 have had seasons they can be very proud of.
Yeah.
And the winner is Gavin Phillips. Topped off a great season with being selected for the Welsh squad. I'm sure in that selection, Adam Jones would have had conversations with Duncan Jones, and they obviously between them see a lot of potential in this lad, and hope he gets some game time. But I'm sure the experience is one that's going to be a positive one for him, and as I say, it culminates a really, really positive season where he's become more and more important to us as a backup to Gareth Thomas in the loose hit position.
Clubman of the Year's got a few people there who've put in a lot of performances, a lot of minutes this season. A few people have been dogged by injury as well, but still put in huge performances when they called upon. So Tom Bugler nominated, Harry Deeves, Morgan Morris, and Keith from Neath, Kieran Williams. So in terms of our choice, I'd be upset if we went to anyone else apart from this man because of the amount of minutes he's put in and the difference he's made to our team this season and for many seasons now. Club of the Year goes to Tom Botha.
Right.
I'll
take this one as a man who clearly knows a lot about haircuts. We have best haircut of the year. And so looking at it, we've got Boshov, who, holding on to it there, but fair play. Got Cassende, Gavin Phillips, Justin Tipperick, or as it was said, he's got a lack of haircut, I suppose. And one of the most iconic haircuts in Welsh rugby in Duncan Jones. And if we're looking at it here, I think the winner is very, very clear, and it's going to go to Duncan Jones. And I think he'll win this every year while he still has hair. In all honesty, the best part of it is he's clearly had it cut, and it's still brilliant. Like, yeah, a man after my own heart. I am jealous of his lid. Duncan Jones is the winner.
How did that award end up in you? But there's only one winner. Oh, best signing video of the year. We've put this in on top of best signing of the year because when you look at what the Ospreys media team do, it's above and beyond, and I don't think there's anything else like it. Well, I don't think in the URC there might be the odd team doing it in England in the same sort of style, but we have got a compilation reel of about 10 signing videos, which we'll probably share via social media. But we narrowed it down to Derry Lake and Talladega Nights, trying not to speak of this too much, and Luke Davis and his ice cream van. So, in terms of quality, though, and this is something we've seen before when some people get together and make videos around the Bonamine area. Okay, then there could only be one. Is there any argument amongst anyone about where the video should go? No, yeah, congratulations to the team behind Luke Davis's video. Mind you, congratulations probably should just go to Luke and Harry Deaves for making the video themselves. Outstanding. Puts a bit of humour back into games going through some really stressful times. So yeah, thank you to the Ospreys for doing that.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Okay, moments of the year. Obviously, there are a couple there. I think they're not very long, so hopefully we can show them for those who are watching YouTube. Obviously, we've got the Iestyn Hopkins try again against the Scarlets just before Christmas. Mark Jones' first game in charge. We've also got the try. Well, I think it's just the end when Morgan Morse kicks it out against Poe. It's one of those. No, what are you doing? Oh, okay, that's fine.
As you said, he's going for a 30-yard kick across the pitch.
Yeah, but that was a great win, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think many people expected us to go there and win, and it was a fantastic occasion. The next game was our win in Glasgow. This is, I think, the penalty which Tipster managed to get a turnover. And from that, Jack Walsh calmly kicks the penalty, which makes the Glasgow's first loss, I think, in the URC for 3 seasons. Tremendous team, tremendous home record, whoever's turning out for them. And it was all on March the 1st, if I remember rightly as well. So a great way to celebrate March the 1st with a famous Osprey win up in Glasgow.
Yeah, that TV angle did nothing for working out if the ball had gone over live, is it? Finally.
And this is the Challenge Cup game where we demolished the Scarlets. We've had the clip of it before, break from Walsh. No, from Edwards, sorry. But he's trying to get with him, doing the best to run with him. He goes to ground, he's tackled, he offloads. Really nice little touch there from Morgan Morris. Could easily have panicked and knocked that on, but just flicked it up, and there was Jack following up to score.
That was a great performance, wasn't it? To come back from the week before and then do that was superb.
And just to round it off, the actual winner is. Couldn't be anything else really, is it? As Osprey fans to score in the last minute, try to beat the Scarlets, and after some adversity before Christmas, Toby leaving us, Mark taking over. In some ways, maybe it was the right game for us to play home to the Scarlets, because the boys were certainly up for it, and it was a fantastic moment for Iestyn Hopkins. For him and his season to score against the Scarlets to to take the points.
Yeah. Looks like he enjoyed it, doesn't he, when you look at him? Game of the season.
Everybody.
Oh, go on then. We'll watch it again. Just
Okay.
one last.
Scarlet Ospreys again before Christmas as a first nomination. The next one is a 43-0 win over Benetton. Takes some doing to nil Benetton. That was a hell of a team performance in terms of discipline and defence as well. And that was the game when Lewis Lloyd got back and tackled someone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Third nomination, Glasgow Ospreys away.
This just it typifies everything Tipperick is. He's exactly what you want an Osprey to be. Never say die. Never gives up, does he?
I don't like tight games, but I didn't mind that one. Yeah, again, yeah, we've seen the kick. We know the kick goes over, do we?
Yeah.
And finally, Ospreys Leinster at home.
I think to push a team like Leinster this close, considering the start of the season, it really kind of typified that kind of turnaround that the Ospreys had under Mark Jones. And yeah, obviously the kick at the end didn't quite go over, but I think it's just a really good performance. And I know people might be questioning why we picked a game that you lost. Or the Ospreys lost as one of the games of the season, but I think it really was pushing anybody to push that Leinster team that close. Even though the Scarlet seem to have proved it's not that hard to beat them. Yeah, I think that was a very good performance from the Ospreys.
Yeah, who would have thought? Yeah, at the start of the season we'd be devastated by the final whistle and the scoreline.
Yeah.
And also on a personal note, just before that game, I got engaged to my girlfriend. So,
oh, congratulations!
Oh, cheers! Yeah, so I'm always going to remember that game.
You're not supposed to remember that game. You're supposed to remember the day you got engaged.
I mean,
yeah,
we're assuming she said yes. Yeah, it could have been the worst day ever.
If we'd beaten Leinster, I think that would have definitely been the highlight of the day.
Okay. So, game of the season after much debate. Glasgow 31, Ospreys 32. We went for fairly unique result up in Glasgow. So yeah, what a performance! I can't remember. Was it the only other team to score 5 tries in that ground is Glasgow?
Yeah. So, great result.
Yeah, and thank you, Jack Walsh, for that kick at the end.
And that's it. Sorry, it's been a long pod, but a long season to reflect on. Just like to thank all the people who've contributed to the podcast as well. If you do enjoy it, hopefully you'll join us again this season. As we said at the beginning, it's the last scheduled Eyrie for the season. We'll certainly be back before the start of the next season. But unfortunately, with Welsh Rugby, one never quite knows what's around the corner. But it's been a lot of fun. Hope you've enjoyed it. So thank you, everybody. Grant, have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I felt very welcome. So cheers. Thanks for asking me on. I've enjoyed.
Good. Josh?
Absolutely loved it. Looking forward to doing the same again next season.
Cool. And Jack?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Thank you so much for having me on and let me contribute. And I'm looking forward to doing the next season again. If you keep me, that is, which I hope you do. But there we go.
And obviously, thanks again to Zach for putting the video clips together and embedding those. And unfortunately, the buggers have made him work again tonight. But I'm sure Zach will be back in his main position of host soon. So that's all we got to say for this evening. So take care, have a good summer, and keep the faith.